an economy that is endless march of manic craziness, you have to pull in the reins a bit. You know, we got to stop these investment schemes on real estate. It's driving everything up. You should see this area. It's crazy. So it's like the Titanic, full ahead, mates. Let's go full ahead and crash. You can't do that way. You got to have a regulated economy on this housing market. That's Mark Carney. I'm not. I'm getting political because he makes sense. He's an economist. I've studied economy, and I say he's right. There's a lot of rubbish on there. I think he'll work with Doug Ford if we get going. Ontario and Quebec will be safe. I don't know how Alberta's going to do. See, we got gold. We need housing, but they're telling you, oh no, it's a one trick pony economy. But that's funny. I see stores, shops, and businesses, manufacturing, maybe e-commerce business. There's many ways to earn a living. I was always an entrepreneur, but I've been reading a lot of books on, trying to self-manage. You can't. You got to have delegate tasks. And I'll tell you something. I've been reading this psychology. The boss man's dog eat dog capitalism. No, it's the psychological model of a business running. I mean, you got probably staff there that can delegate and give them space to think right, and the business will run better. I've got CEOs of companies. Oh, we encourage them. No, you learn the cortisol level in the brain if you're yelling at them, and let them the creative juices flow and encourage your staff. Because a lot of these younger people coming up in the ranks, I got a lot of knowledge from new school. We don't go synopsis, we don't go back to school. They do. They've just come out freshly. So they always take the fresh chicken hens and make a better business for them. And it's not to control them, it's to give them space so the creative juices come out with all the tools they've learned in their educational models. I'm sure they are good. Education's improved, technology's improved, but that'll be a first one in any business. Leadership techniques and working together and what Napoleon Hill called it's again mastermind. When you got people working together and thinking together, you're going to come up with new incentives. We've got a crazy culture of business, dog eat dog and hustle culture. Where's that got us? People buying junk and producing junk. Does it make a good economy? I don't think so. Unless you put the externalities of throwing the stuff out. No, a good economy, good stable economy. This housing market, you can't use it as an investment vehicle. So what do you invest in? Well, Mike Shiner, I'm not going to get green, but I'm going to tell you, he came up with green ratings. That's where they landed in Ontario. Kitchener's got a whole pile of renewable development. I think I'll go along with that too. Renewable energy, it's got to be developed and manufactured. So that's jobs. The other thing Doug's opened up is the gold. That's what we need in the bank. Right? I don't think anybody's read Atwood. No, they attack Atwood. She wrote a book years ago called Payback. What's it mean? They're not putting money in there, it's paper money. There's a lot of stuff on here that really distorts things. Talking about Federal Reserve, it was good. Never told you why they lost the war in Vietnam, did they? Who's holding the coin? Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, they had gold. It's the foundation of money. If you got a fractional reserve banking, she's just like a. Oh, here's an example. I'm a horseman. I know something. Animal rights and justice. I was supporting them until I saw them do that. They went on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Sorry, I'm going to tell you, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, the horses got bits in them. They're Toronto Metro Police horses. Run and kill somebody. So you got to have a bit in them. Well, that's what's wrong with the economy. There's no bit in these ones. These are just wild broncs riding around, killing everything. This market is all that. How much are you making? I was in the bar and he said, I've invested in this real estate commodity market. How much? $1 million last year. Is it sustainable? I'm buying a broker up in Ottawa, and I don't know. That market's pretty high, but they know something, and I think all brokers know this won't sustain itself. So where's it go? It's going into flatline and no sales. So we got to do something. And Mark Carney, I'm going to just be poignant. I don't care if you don't like liberal. I'm going to tell you should, because you can own a house. These kids are sleeping in coffee shops. Crime rates are going up. Can you put extra millies in that? Drugs? Sure. That's not sane. I look around. I don't just listen to the bureaucrats saying something that's crazy from in jail. They did that before. They went to Australia and they were convicts. Formed an island and made a economy. Out there they had Ned Kelly, the Mad Dog Morgan, get the government to get some booze in. I mean, the economy could be good. We choose wisely. And I don't care if you don't like me. I'm just telling you what's good for you. The doctor might tell you to wear a mask, have some vaccine. But a lot of people go against that. So I don't get partisan. I've talked to the ombudsman. She says, you're not partisan. You're looking at things clearly. That's not a partisan. An ombudsman does. What was going on here with the unions? Well, that wasn't right either. They were all going out and strike because they want more money. So what could be wrong with that? And the management can't handle it. Is the management the ones that are bad? In that case, I'd say it's the unions. So there's two sides not listening to each other, and you might get mad. I don't care. You got no jobs. The management says, "Whoa, we got to pay our shareholders money." So what do you do? Oh, brothers up. Can't do it. You never bring you in for arbitration. Don't like that. It ends. It's just the end of the road. I've seen quite a few places in Ontario do that. I talked to the ombudsman. No, she said, I think mediation, but we get two-sided and we can't give. We can't mediate. It's like a marriage breaking up. And look at the amount of marriages breaking up. This country could get better. First thing is to clean up the economy. We're not talking about going off fossil fuels. Mark Carney is not calling. He's talking about a gray zone. And it's a normal carbon tax. Now, the only reason why you can't afford you think you can't afford the carbon tax is the free market system's killing us, not the carbon tax. Oil is just fluctuating all the time. It doesn't matter what you do. But there's other things we gotta have. Food. I got no food here. Why? Well, it's the way things go. You have lots of cars. Yeah, road aggregate, so it takes up farmland and franchises. They kill you. All right, if people are making money and they'll have to overprice the food, but that's why everything costs so much. Housing market, food prices, because employment goes up. It's called egalitarian concept of understanding this model. But we get so damn partisan when we say, my daddy voted that way. Well, my daddy voted a certain way, but I don't work that way. I vote what's right now. If you could look around you, I'm living on the food bank. I'm going up to Ottawa, and I'm going to start a business because I'm 60, 70, and they stole a lot of money on me. So why does that happen? Why do they rob older people? Because they, it's just the same as the housing market, eh? One man over top and he's drowning the other man down, 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 down. So, and that's what happens. So we get dishonest. And I got to do a civil suit. That's the only way I can do it. So it's been hard. I had PTSD before from armed robbery. They threw me out of the house and I lost everything. My brother said, you should have money when I die. No, I took everything. They wiped me out. So you got to watch that. That's your family. That's been babied. That never worked. And then you go out, and I'm going to say something. Maybe I work too much. I worked a long hours. I used to work 12 hours a day. Maybe I did. I don't think I did. I think get books and read on economics or try to understand things and let the way things work. I really suggest that. If you want to make money instead of wine, read books on economics. And have an open mind. Don't listen to politicians. They're just trying to get in power. This is your world. Even if you want to take a job, some people want to work for people. But you got to have a stable economy so you can work for the boss man and you're going to be begging for more money and go down the strike. Never ends. Endless march. So it seems like I'm going to tell you, with his model, I think he's got the best deal, but it's not partisan. Well, it's too bad we have to have leaders do this, but it is partisan. If we could regulate the economy ourselves, it wouldn't be so bad. So the carbon tax, nobody wants the carbon tax. Well, government comes up. But he's not putting a lot of carbon tax on. You're going to have more money. And you're going to have assets to tie it down. If we keep a housing market inflating and we have just rentals, you'll always be wanting more money. And you have a foundation to build on, you have a better world, you have assets. You can borrow on an asset, but don't go in a reverse mortgage. That's a good deal. You have your own assets. If you don't have, because that'll be yours. The bank, if you don't get into that, their assets will go out the door. We know that. So we stabilize the banking system. And the other thing I'm studying is the psychology of business and trauma therapy. They haven't got a clue on how to treat people with trauma. I'm seeing most cases in hospitals now, and they're just yelling at them. And I was working with some veterans. Their stories are pretty rough. So I wondered how I could take listening to these horrible things. I'm just not going to get into that. Emotional intelligence must be taught in medicine. So you know when to let go of the empathy, because you got to have some sort of empathy to have a little bit of kindness or compassion. So if you're always self-regulating by being meaner, you're not helping anybody, being mean to the person. So we're getting into that type of healthcare. It's not good because they need to be learning a method of not burning up. That's a psychology that we should be teaching. But it's effective in business. If your staff is treating customers right, you're going to have more money coming in. People come back for not the hustle. They come back and they keep on repeating so they sell more products. Think about it. They like you. They'll come back. This isn't a digital economy. This is bricks and mortar. So you want to have a good staff. And you look at Yipes and all that. They'll give you a good review and you get more customers. But this is why I know we got to slow down. We're producing everything too fast. I was listening to Cal Newport on slow production. I was just thinking of an album Jewel was making. It was off of Neil Young's producer. She slowed it down and made a really nice album. And it's sustainable. You're making... I don't even think the music industry's making that much money. You're just putting stuff out there and keep on doing the same thing. And it's not good music. You make it once and it's selling and it's got a marketing thing. You'll make money for years. But that stuff's not... I don't think you make much money. And I'm not to a hip-hop artist. All your money first. No. That's too much effort. You're struggling to get... You're in a business. You're struggling. Just set the price and focus on the work and enjoy it. And, the bottom knows their business. You've been in them. You got some top guy over at another guy. Nobody likes that. We need an equal partnership and people working together. Lots of enthusiasm. When people are sinking and they don't feel threatened, they do a better job. So that's a form of leadership we need in business. We're good. I've been walking all day and I feel a bit better. Take care.